Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, May 11th, 2017. I'm Lafern Fraser with the details. Opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday is describing a response letter penned by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves as dismissive. Last week, Dr. Friday wrote a letter to Prime Minister Gonsalves and laid out questions about the money spent by the Argyle International Airport Development Company, the IADC, to build the air facility and its financial reports being placed at the Commercial and Intellectual Properties Office, or CIPO. In his response to the opposition leader, in a letter dated Monday, May 8, 2017, Prime Minister Gonsalves stated that the opposition leader and his team are, quote, so politically distraught that the ULP government constructed the airport that it is in their DNA to attack it for no good reason. The Prime Minister further refers to the opposition leader's charge of lack of accountability as, quote, nothing but a proxy political attack on the AIA. In a telephone interview with SVG-TV News, Dr. Friday explained that the request being made to the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance to give account for the construction of the Argyle International Airport is in an effort to ensure that the exact cost of the airport is determined and that all the legal requirements were followed.
Well, it's very dismissive. You know, it's treating it as if somehow, you know, we don't have a right to ask for accountability. We don't have a right to request, to expect him to give account for these things, that somehow we must take his word for it, that he's doing it, that he is the leader of accountability in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the paragon of virtue, so to speak. But this is not a question of questioning his own integrity or whatever. We're just simply saying we want you to at least show that you're complying with what the legal requirement is and the expectation of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And just saying that, you know, we are doing it and we are doing it in our way is not sufficient.
The opposition leader further emphasized the need for overall transparency in the governance of the country and highlighted concerns as it relates to Petro-Carib funds.
We use the example of the IADC because it's the largest project that it's a company that has executed the largest project in the country. You know, it's the largest amount of money, over $700 million by their estimate, but by ours, over $1 billion of public funds have been spent on that project. So we use it as an example, but that's not the only case in which there are concerns about accountability. If you look at the situation with Petro-Carib, for example, where not a single audited report has been filed, even at the Commercial and Intellectual Property Office, and hundreds of millions of dollars have come through that company as well. That has to be accounted for. And you will recall that for 10 years that company existed, was accepting money on behalf of the government, they say, but the funds were not put into any account. It was not in the consolidated fund, which the Constitution requires, and it was not in any fund that was established by any law in the country, yet it was being received and being spent. Now, who is going to account for that?
Dr. Friday pointed out that the questions being asked are not in an attempt to attack the air facility or be partisan in addressing issues affecting the nation.
You know, you hear a lot of responses from members on the government side treating this as essentially a partisan issue and descending to the level of suggesting that somehow this is an attack on the airport and all that nonsense. Choose to latch on to this as some anti-airport tirade. That's not the case. You know, we have accepted that the airport has been completed, but it has been at least opened. There's still work going on. And as a country, you know, we are in for it, in for a penny, in for a pound. We have to try to make it work. We understand that. But we need to know what exactly we are dealing with. And part of it is accounting for how the funds have been spent and how much we owe in debt, and to see where we go from there.
And at a media conference on Monday, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said the opposition leader clearly seems to be debating on issues that he is not too versed on. Referring to statements made at the NDP media conference on April 19th, Prime Minister Gonsalves pointed out what he said are incorrect statements made by the opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday, which he said shed light on the lack of knowledge he possesses on the matter.
Look, if you read that statement, that earlier statement, which he made on that ill-fated press conference of the 19th, where only one man asked questions. He quoted this thing about annual audit of statutory bodies in Section 13 of the Audit Act. That relates to statutory bodies. And to show you how he didn't understand, he referred in the same paragraph about National Properties Limited being a statutory body. From the time you see limited, you know it's a company. So he was off beam. That's why I call the press conference ill-fated. He was so wrong, but having caught him telling these whoppers, he tried to backpedal and trying to throw smoke. And it doesn't matter how much smoke you throw. This is why I haven't let up on this thing, you know. Because I know that I am in the right.
The Minister of Finance further expressed confidence in the persons who are responsible for overseeing the affairs of the Commercial Intellectual Properties Office, or CIPO, the said institution from which the opposition is requesting audited reports on the AIA.
Because I have confidence in the independent auditors. I have confidence in the Director of Audit. I'm satisfied, and I have confidence in the the chairman of IADC, as I did of the chief executive officer of VINLEC, because I have to have confidence in the institutions that they're functioning. And if I find anything that I want to ask questions about, I would ask. So I don't know, but you see what happened in this case, Kenton. Friday misspoke badly. He said that this thing called IADC was a statutory corporation. That's what he said. And he also said that it should report to Parliament, and since 2004, I have not submitted any accounts, any audited statements.
Prime Minister Gonsalves maintained that Dr. Friday's statements on the issue were false and expressed his irritation with such.
And I'm saying that all those things what Friday said were false. And it is a bit irritating, I must tell you. In the face of such falsehoods, that a man would still maintain that he's right. What do you do with that? What do you do with somebody like that? Other than be irritated? I can't take off my belt and whip him. You understand what I mean? Because he's not something of that kind. You know, I'm saying this. All I could do is just be irritated that a man, he wouldn't admit that, listen, this thing is wrong what I said. I misspoke. Ralph caught me with my pants down. And metaphorically, I spanked him, not literally. But now what he then does is just twist and turn.
On another matter, Prime Minister Gonsalves said several schools are in line for minor and extensive repairs under grants from the World Bank as well as the Basic Needs Trust Fund, the BNTF. The Prime Minister's announcement came at a media conference on Tuesday in light of a statement released by the SVG Teachers Union expressing concern with the deteriorating conditions at some schools across the country. The unions contend that these schools are currently unfit for use as they pose a significant threat to the health and safety of staff and students and other users of the buildings. According to the SVGTU, it has brought the matter to the attention of the relevant authorities, and to date, very little or nothing has been done to effectively address the matter. Noting that it will soon issue an advisory to its members, the union encourages the authorities to take immediate action and the steps necessary to address these concerns. However, at Tuesday's media conference, Prime Minister Gonsalves said the work of the government specifically in the educational sector speaks for itself.
The Dorsetshire Hill Primary School work commenced on it in September the 5th, 2016. It's ongoing. The project is due to complete in August this year. At least that's what I've been advised. At the moment, we have a memorandum of understanding with the Dorsetshire Hill Evangelical Church, where they're doing their work, where they're doing their schooling, and that's extended until July the 31st. Anybody you can ask SADO from Sea Operations, SADO has the contract, is $1.5 million. So if you hear somebody say, nothing is happening there, I'm just telling you, you know. It's easy to sit down and come to conclusions.
He also shed light on plans for the Kingstown Government School, where he said extensive repairs are to be carried out. But first, he said the issue of students' relocation needs to be ironed out.
Kingstown Government School. This school is to be repaired and upgraded in a way that it will also be a disaster shelter. The project is being held up, I will tell you this, because the Ministry of Education is unable to find suitable space to relocate the students. They have initiated discussion with a couple of entities to house some students. The resources are available for it to be done. But if we're going to do over that school, we have to move the children somewhere. And that is the problem which we have been having.
The Prime Minister also provided some updates on the works that are taking place and those yet to commence on some of the rural schools.
Under the BNTF, Basic Need Trust Fund, monies which we got from the CDB, the Caribbean Development Bank, you know, at Diamond Government School, we did the roof maintenance, we changed doors, we installed aluminium windows on both floors and repaired the existing concrete stair. We constructed a new kitchen and dining block. And this is ongoing. There's a contractor called Merge International. You can call them and ask them what's happening. That's nearly $500,000. The contract sum is $488,000. Under the BNTF, we have already done we did work on the Belair Government School, and they are going to Belmont Primary and Langley Park Government School are going to get attention. That these things are specific areas which they are funded for already, in addition to the $1 million which are put aside to do some general repairs, and we need more resources.
There has been an excellent response from businesses and consumers with regards to the 1% increase in the value-added tax rate from 15% to 16% since it was imposed on May 1st. That's according to Comptroller of the Inland Revenue Department, Kelvin Pompey, while speaking to SVG-TV earlier today, outlining that there have been positive responses from consumers as it relates to correct receipts and invoices. Pompey noted that a few persons have complained about the 1% increase not being shown on individual shelf prices, but instead is added at the cash register.
Businesses, if not all, the majority, have successfully converted and changed their system to reflect and to charge the 16% VAT. We have had just a few businesses who required a couple more days in order to effect the necessary changes. Some would have had to bring in the necessary expertise from overseas, from their service providers. But to date, most, if not all, of our businesses are compliant with regards to charging the 16% VAT, and the VAT receipts and invoices are all reflective of such. The prices on the shelf should be VAT inclusive, and this has happened in some instances where businesses have had individually priced items, and it has taken them, a bit more time to reprice all of these items. But we have spoken to those businesses that we have been informed of, and they are doing the necessary corrective action.
Pointing out that the department continues to provide guidance and support to businesses in order to promote voluntary compliance, Pompey further stated that an education and advisory team has been set up by the department to aid in this effort.
And these persons are working along with businesses who call and request whatever sort of assistance they may need, and for those that persons have reported as having issues. Come today and tomorrow, we actually have teams in the Grenadines, and for the next several weeks we would be doing the Grenadines Islands to ensure that they too have the level and type of coverage from our department that the mainland employees would have. And so the process continues in terms of educating and updating taxpayers, and we are confident that our overall awareness and outreach efforts basically are bearing significant fruits in terms of the high levels of compliance that we have achieved to date.
The Comptroller of the Inland Revenue Department also took the opportunity to remind the Vincentian public of the property tax payment period, which is soon approaching. Pompey said his department will this year focus on looking at non-compliant or delinquent taxpayers to effect a much higher level of voluntary property tax compliance.
A reminder to property owners that we are about to enter the property tax period in which we are sending out bills to individual homeowners. The department is not too pleased with the level of compliance in terms of payment for persons who have property taxes outstanding, and we are looking at our systems and structures and the legislation to determine where we should make an intervention with regards to achieving higher levels of compliance. But at this point, we are in the process of getting the bills out, and to remind property tax owners that once you receive a bill, or even if you don't receive a bill, that property taxes are due and payable between the period of July and September.
This country will next week host a seminar of the UN Special Committee on Decolonization. The committee's Caribbean Regional Seminar will take place at the NIS Conference Room from Tuesday, May 16th to Thursday, May 18th, under the theme, The Future for Decolonization in the Non-Self-Governing Territories, What Are the Prospects? The UN entity was established in 1961 by the General Assembly and is devoted exclusively to the issue of decolonization. The seminar next week will focus on the implementation of the third international decade for the eradication of colonialism. It will be attended by 10 special committee members from the 4 regional groups: the groups of African states, the group of Asian Pacific states, the group of Eastern European states, and that of Latin American and Caribbean states. An official opening ceremony will take place on Tuesday morning, May 16th at the NIS Conference Room, followed by a cocktail on Thursday evening, May 18th at the official residence of the Prime Minister. Recruitment Officer of the Southern Caribbean, Lyndon Simmons, is encouraging Vincentians to take up the opportunity to pursue further studies with the institution. In an interview this week with SVG-TV News, Simmons pointed out that the University of the Southern Caribbean believes in the holistic development of its students with practical exposure and hands-on training as part of their education experience.
At the University of the Southern Caribbean. Now, the interesting thing about USC is that we believe in a holistic education. It's not just like you're going to be doing a degree. You know, when you come to USC and when you leave the walls or the halls of USC, you are very well equipped for the world of work. And so part of our drive is also to expose our students. And you would find, you would have heard Jason speak about the choir being here on a missionary trip. All right, this is part of what we believe. All right, so that we can give the students the opportunity to get hands-on training while at school. All right, so these students would have taken their finances, they would have taken the time from their busy schedules to come to St. Vincent to share the good news through music.
According to Simmons, while the university is owned by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, it is open to all and presents unique advantages to students.
I could go further to say, not because it's owned by the Seventh-day Adventist Church means that we only accept students who are Seventh-day Adventists. We are open to everyone. Of course, for us, we will have rules and regulations, and that's one of the good things about USC. All right, so you will find that, you know, when you perhaps go to a secular campus, you might have to worry about, you know, persons smoking and bad behaviors and stuff like that. But at USC, it's very safe. You don't have to worry about persons smoking and interfering with persons and stuff like that. It's very, very, very safe. In addition to that, we can boast of our institution having small, intimate classes. Now, and that's something that students appreciate very much. The environment is very conducive to learning, and so we have lecturers, faculty, and staff from all over the world as well. And they're very understanding, they're very nurturing in how they deliver the information to the students. All right, so that's one thing that the students can also look forward to.
Simmons then outlined some of the courses which the university is offering.
Courses that we offer at the university, we have things like business, the School of Business, where we have things like accounting, economics, finance. All right, we also have pre-med. For those persons who are desirous of doing pre-med, you must have 5 CSEC subjects, and those that degree in particular is very specific. You must have math and English, and together with that, you must have biology, chemistry, and physics. You must have these 3 sciences in grades 1 or 2. If you have a grade 3, you can be accepted, but of course you will be put on a prelim program, of which we don't encourage students, you know, because that'll be more money for you to study, all right? And we know as international students, finances can be a challenge. So we encourage you to ensure that you get your grade 1 or grade 2 and enroll at the University of the Southern Caribbean.
Vincentians will have the opportunity to enjoy gospel music as well as a unique worship experience at a concert to be hosted this Sunday by His Love Choir at the Russell's Auditorium. Speaking with SVG-TV was Drayson Brown, the manager of the choir, who said the goal is to spread the good news of the gospel to the people of SVG as well as create an environment of positivity in the nation.
Heavenly inspired singers lifting up voices. And we're here, 80-voice strong choir. We're here basically to spread the good news of Jesus through music and also through missionary projects. We would have done many missionary work here thus far. And one of our main sole goal in life as a choir is basically to increase the positivity of the persons living not only in St. Vincent, but persons who might come in contact with us. The positivity in terms of being each other's brother's keeper. So we're here to spread that good news and to encourage the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to partner with us as we continue to encourage others to live a life where we can be each other's brother's keeper.
Brown added that as part of creating an environment of positivity, the choir has been engaged in various activities, including cleanup work and a health fair promoting physical and spiritual health.
We visited the Seventh-day Adventist School in Layu side, and we realized that was one of the schools that was covered after the flood last year. So we came and we had a massive cleanup campaign, and we left the school in a very great condition for the students. We have also visited some of the secondary schools where we encourage even those students at that level, you know, as we said, with our main theme, to be each other's brother's keeper. And we have had a major health fair in Kingstown where persons were encouraged to visit the different booths. Of course, that were all free of charge. And because one of the things we believe in as well, we believe that our health is actually our wealth. And so as we promoted the health aspect of life here in St. Vincent, we also encourage others to be extremely healthy on the spiritual side as well.
Also speaking with SVG-TV was vocalist Letitia Sylvester, who pointed out that the choir comprises of students from the University of the Southern Caribbean who used the opportunity to minister to various persons and encouraged Vincentians to attend the concert, which she says would be a worship experience.
In a different level of responsibility to come out and be exposed and engaged in ministry, you know, and this is not something we see every day in students who have their own struggles and their own trials during the semester. So it's something really pleasurable to see and experience, you know, looking at them and seeing how they have grown. So I invite you all to come out, support the choir, support the cause. We've been here for a couple days now, and we've been doing a lot of work here on the island, a lot of footwork also, getting the word out about the concert. So if you've been blessed recently, or if you have something to give God thanks for, come out. This is your opportunity. This is your time to give him the praise, to help us, and as we encourage you to lift praises up, let praises rise. So come out on Saturday the 13th of May at 7:30 p.m. at Russell's Auditorium for a grand time.
Two of the artists, Letitia Sylvester and Lyndon Simmons, both gave a sample of what persons can expect at Sunday's concert.
Indescribable, uncontainable, you place the stars in the sky, and you know them by name. You are amazing, God. All powerful, unchangeable, awestruck we fall to our knees as we humbly proclaim that you are amazing, God. See you on Saturday.
Saying today there's no hope, but I just want to let you know troubles won't last all night. God will see you through the evening. You say there's no use for your life, but he was made to worship, even when things ain't so right. My child, just sing out your song through the night. St. Vincent, see you on Saturday.
The Ministry of Tourism, Sports and Culture is inviting local designers and graphic artists to participate in the Caribbean Tourism Organization's Sustainable Tourism Awards Logo Design Competition. This competition is open to persons aged 18 and older who are Vincentian nationals. Interested persons are asked to submit designs to Kennedy Pemberton, Sustainable Tourism Consultant, at email address pemberton@caribtourism.com. The deadline for submissions is Friday, 16th June this year. Meanwhile, voting is now open for the Best Caribbean Travel Blog Posting. This award is given to the person voted as having written the best travel blog about the Caribbean or any CTO member country. The award will be presented at the Caribbean Tourism Awards Luncheon on Thursday, June 8, 2017 during Caribbean Week, New York. Voting commenced on May 6th and will close on May 21st this year.